The first exercise we come to here in slow motion is the squat with your heels up and also coming with the heels flat. By far most experts agree the squat is the king of all exercise because it provides so much bang for your buck. When squatting, you want to make sure to drop your hips back and bring your torso forward until your thighs are about parallel to the ground. Another point is that your shoulders and your ankles are in a straight line. Notice here. Again, we're here with squats, and these are in regular speed, and you'll notice here that I'm going pretty fast. The reason for this is that I'm trying to shoot for between 200 and 300 repetitions. It's one of the great things about squats. You can do many repetitions, and they're excellent for increasing your conditioning, your cardiovascular conditioning, and your muscular endurance. There are actually some trainers that have done 2,000 or more straight strength endurance squats. Over here I'm doing squats from the back view with the heels up, and here is what I like to call a strength walk, where I do an exercise combined with walking from anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes of walking, and then I do some type of exercise. Over here you have a client of mine, Shelly Sivak. He's doing a strength endurance squat with the heels up, but he's doing a partial squat. He's not going all the way down. Still is very effective and an excellent exercise. And by the way, he's 75 years old. Here I'm demonstrating a partial squat. Main thing is that I'm just going about a quarter of the way down. This is excellent for people who can't squat due to an injury or lack of strength. There's always a way to modify an exercise. Here in slow motion, you have an advanced jump squat or speed squat. As you can see, one easy way to make an exercise more challenging is by simply adding speed or explosiveness. You don't have to jump either, as you see here. By simply increasing the speed, you can take your conditioning to higher levels. Here in slow motion is another advanced version of the squat with one leg back. The forward leg is the one that does most of the work, while the back leg slightly touches the ground. You can also place a soft mat on the floor to keep from banging your knee. And now here's the squat with one leg back in regular motion. And last, in slow motion, we come to the most advanced version of squatting, the famous one-legged squat. As you see here, I'm doing it from an elevated position, as this makes it easier to keep the non-working leg out of the way. As you see here, you will be dropping down and extending your arms in front of you until your thighs are about parallel to the ground. I like to think of it as sitting in an imaginary chair and then coming back up. Make no mistake here though, as this exercise is highly advanced and will take patience and practice. I can easily do 200 to 300 two-legged squats, yet struggle to do 15 one-legged squats. So this should tell you something. Lunges are another exercise that are excellent for your lower body, and one of the best things that I like about lunges, especially this one, the static lunge, is that it's excellent for increasing the flexibility of your hip flexor, which is on the front of your thigh, the upper thigh, and it's usually very tight in most people because simply we sit down too much and we just lack of exercise and stuff like that. So here, as you notice, you take a step forward. I like to put my hands up to engage my abdominals a little bit more, And now here in our regular speed, all you want to do is you want to drop down slowly until your knee slightly touches the ground, and you want to make sure that that front knee is in alignment with that ankle. I'm actually a little bit forward there, but that's okay. And now you're switching, and the static lunge here is excellent for flexibility of that hip flexor, and it's excellent for the glutes, for your hamstrings, and here with the hands up, it's excellent for improving your balance and for your abdominals. The next progression with lunges, over here you'll notice the forward lunge in slow motion is simply to just take a step forward and drop down so that knee slightly touches the ground, and then you just bring yourself back to the start position. Again, you'll notice that I'm in alignment, my torso is straight, that knee is over my ankle, and I'm just going forward, dropping down so that knee slightly touches the ground, and I'm coming right back. Here I'm alternating. Some people like to do, let's say, 10 repetitions on one side, then 10 repetitions on the other side. Okay, take a look at it here now in regular speed. Same thing, the form looks excellent. And again, excellent for improving the flexibility of that hip area, that hip flexor area. Excellent for your glutes, for that butt, for your hamstrings, and for your overall leg development. Okay, the next progression we come to with lunges is the reverse lunge. Okay, here in slow motion. You notice with the reverse lunge, all you simply do is step back and bring that knee down so it slightly touches the ground or just before it touches the ground. Again, you want to look at that front knee is in alignment with that ankle. Over here my torso is up straight. And then I'm using that front leg to drive me back to the start position. Now here you have it in regular motion. And again, excellent for the glutes, excellent for the hamstring, overall leg development, excellent. Also excellent for hip flexibility, tightness, especially the hip flexor. Okay, the next progression here is the reverse crossover lunge, and here in slow motion, basically it's a regular reverse lunge. The only thing is that you're bringing that back leg behind the front leg. Okay, and one of my favorite things about this exercise is that it addresses hip flexibility, but hip flexibility from the sides, usually that glute area on your side, that butt area that's very tight. This is excellent for increasing the flexibility and strength of that area, which is tight in many people. Okay, and again, as you notice, I'm dropping that leg back behind the front leg, and that knee is still in alignment with my ankle, and I'm just bringing that knee down slightly touching the ground or just before the ground. Okay, now here it's in regular motion, and everything stays the same except you're crossing over. Even my torso is erect. You notice a straight line down, my torso and that back leg in alignment. Still pretty good form there. Again, an excellent exercise for overall leg development and hip flexibility. And here you have my 75-year-old client, Shelly Sivak, performing the reverse crossover lunge with the hands up, which is even a bit harder. He's doing a partial lunge, not going all the way down, but still an excellent exercise, and he's doing a great job at it. The most advanced lunge here in slow motion is the walking lunge, and as you see here, I'm dropping down with that right leg, my right knee is over my right ankle. Here I'm dropping down with the left leg, and you notice my torso is still erect. Okay, that's what you want to look for with the lunge. You want to take a nice step forward, and again that knee should just barely touch the ground. Okay, the lunge here, excellent for your glutes, hamstrings, thighs, overall leg development, balance. Also again, excellent for alleviating hip flexor tightness, which can contribute to back pain. And Here in regular motion, the key is control. Also, the lunge is excellent for balance and conditioning. I like to do anywhere from 15 to 40 repetitions on each leg. You can alternate or do one leg at a time. Next, from behind is the lunge with the hands up, and again this makes it tougher to balance yourself, so your balance will improve, your core development will improve. And next we come here in slow motion to the most advanced version of the walking lunge, which is a crossover lunge. And again, see that right knee over that right ankle. My favorite thing about the crossover lunge is that side area by my left arm there will be improved as far as flexibility goes. A lot of people are very tight in that area, the ITB band, that piriformis area. Just the outer side of your hip will improve as far as dynamic flexibility goes, and that's one of the best things I love about the crossover lunge, besides all the other stuff and lower body leg development. Okay, next here in slow motion we come to hamstring hip extension, and the main thing to notice with this exercise is all you're doing is lifting your butt off the ground, and you want to make sure, this is imperative, that you keep a bend in your knee. If you don't keep a bend in your knee, you can aggravate your hamstring or your knee area or your calf muscle. So it's imperative that you keep a bend in your knee. One of the reasons I chose this exercise is, yes, it's very simple, but a lot of people are just very weak in the hamstrings, and they have a big imbalance between the strength of their thighs and the strength of their hamstrings. So it's important to include this exercise for most people, I believe. This is another place you can do it. Basically, you just want to find an elevated surface and you can do the exercise. And this is actually my favorite place, right off my bed, because you can press right into the bed and it doesn't hurt. You don't have to wear sneakers. And here you have a 75-year-old Shelly Sivak performing hip extensions off a bench here. Now, many times, as I said before, what happens is, because people are so weak in the hamstrings, they can't do the hamstring hip extension because of pain in the knee or just lack of strength. So you can just switch to this alternative, and basically you just keep your feet on the ground and bring your hips off the ground as so. And what happens here is the glutes work harder, so the hamstrings will also be strengthened, but without the undue stress that the hamstring hip extension can cause. A lot of times I just have people do this exercise instead of the hamstring hip extension. And of course we have advanced versions of hamstring hip extensions, and here at the pool you'll see the different versions, and I'll just narrate those. You have one leg hip extension, as I'm doing here, and then we can also come to rotational one leg hip extension and also two leg hip extensions. These are excellent for strengthening your hamstrings. Actually, one of the most effective hamstring exercises I've ever come across. Again, you want to make sure you have that bend in your knee.